Shalom Abracha from Yerushalayim. We have completed Tefillat Shacharit, and as I promised, we want to dedicate a few segments specifically to the important prayer of the Qaddish and the Minhagim in our community relating to this prayer. Now, the Qaddish in its present form and wording and structure is not found in the Talmud, and it's something which evolved over time. As a matter of fact, even if you look at Mahzor Arab Soba, you'll see that the nosach, the wording of the Qaddish from 500 years ago, is much different than the wording that we have today. The Qaddish, before we begin, I want to just give a few words of introduction regarding the Qaddish to help us understand some of the minhagim that will follow. This prayer is a prayer beseeching for the magnification, Gaddal, and the sanctification, Qaddash, of God's exalted name, Shemeh Haba, in this world that He created, Ba'al Madi Berakhiroteh. It continues to speak about the hopes for speedy redemption, Yasmah Kurkarev Karev Mesheheh Ba'agala Bizman Karim. And it goes back to speak about His name, Yeh Shemeh Haba Mevarach, until the end of the section. Now, this central phrase in the Qaddish, is indeed found in the Talmud and in the Drashim as early as in Masechet Berachot, both in Hebrew and in Aramaic. It's unclear if this was a prayer, and if so, how was it used? There's an opinion that it was said after a learning session in the Bet Midrash. This is a little unclear. It's something which certainly evolved over time. Now, if you look at the words of the Qaddish and the content, there's nothing really to connect it directly to the deceased, which many people have the impression that this is a prayer for the dead. And indeed, certainly Minhagim developed connecting it to the deceased. However, there's nothing in the Qaddish which connects it. There are early references to its usage with regards to the Metim. One would be in the 9th century, the Sidur of Rav Amram Gaon, which he compiled for the Kehilot, other Kehilot. And he does say that this prayer should be said by a son on the grave of his father, he writes. Another source is the Ribash from the 14th century, 15th century Spain, from the Megurashim, and he writes that for 12 months a son should say this prayer for his father. It was really brought to the level of custom that we have it today by the Kabbalah in Safed, by the Ari Zikrono Libracha, which mentioned that the saying of Qaddish helps elevate the soul, and then all the customs really develop from those teachings. However, before its association with the deceased, the Qaddish was a very important part of the prayer, both al pi peshat and al pi Kabbalah. Al pi peshat, we know from the videos we've known that the Shacharit is divided into 7 sections. And one would be the Korbanot, second section the Pesukei de Zimra, the third section is the Kedusha Miyoshev, which includes the Kriyat Shema, the fourth and main section is the Amidah, which includes the Hazara and the Tahanunim, the fifth section being the Kedusha de Sidra, which includes Ashrei and Ubal Sion, followed by the sixth section, which is the Shir Shel Yom, and the last section, which is the Ketoret. And between each section, we have a Qaddish to separate one from the other, each with its appropriate Qaddish, which we'll get to in the customs later on. According to the Kabbalah, there's different aspects of the world we live in, and the prayer ascends to the highest form, which is Atzilut, which is the Amidah, and then descends through Beri'ah, Yetzirah, and Asiyah. So we begin with Asiyah, Yetzirah, Beri'ah, Atzilut, Amidah, and descend. And between each section of these worlds, the Qaddish helps us navigate and elevate and move to the next aspect. Now, because of these reasons and its importance in the prayer, that explains the minhag of not only our community, but all Sephardim, as opposed to the Minhag of the Ashkenazim, we do not ever skip a Qaddish. Even the Qaddishim, which are unique to the Abelim, or to those who have a requirement to say a Qaddish, like Yesh Lama and Al Israel, if there's nobody in the Bet Knesset, in the Minyan, to say these Qaddishim, they are never skipped. The Hazan is obligated to say this Qaddish. This is the custom of all Sephardim. It's only the Ashkenazim that skip the Qaddishim. What we're going to do in the next video is go through each Qaddish and compare the wording, the Nushaot and the customs of our community regarding the wording of these Qaddishim. Shalom, bracha.